Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back to your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as was the vast majority of crypto and finance. And with that being said, let's dive on in and let's talk about a few things. So first off, I hope everybody's having a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are out there in the world. One of the largest events that everyone is looking into right now is the Bitcoin ETF approval. Now, we recently just saw the SEC post a warning to investors. It's kind of comical, right? The SEC warning investors. Like always, but nonetheless, they say no to FOMO about digital assets, gearing up for spot Bitcoin ETF approval, ? Now, this is actually very bullish long term. I think that this is going to be a very big signal for what's to come around crypto. I mean, if they're literally telling us, hey, say no to FOMO, we could probably expect to have a pretty big year for crypto and digital assets, especially with a possible ETF approval. The thing about the ETFs, right? I have been warning you guys about these ETFs for a while. It's kind of comical, though, that we have Bitcoin maxis now celebrating Wall Street launching manipulative trading tools for Bitcoin. Like, if we think about how comical that is versus like 8 years ago when Bitcoin maxis were calling XRP a banker's coin, it's just funny to me. But either way, right? ETF approvals, they're going to happen. I feel as though they are inevitable. But I do think that this is one of the most manipulative events in crypto history, and we're going to be talking about it, right? So first off, we got this yesterday, which was about an hour ago when this post did go live. This is again from January 6th. Cathie Wood, we believe the green light by the SEC. We hope and believe the next week there's a big buyer on the way here. Now, this got posted by Crypto Airy. Check out the video clip. It's about 40 seconds long.
So to pry it out of the hands of these long-term holders, now that institutions are going to be given, we believe, the green light by the SEC, we hope and believe the next week. The price that they're going to demand, now that this asset is so scarce, and the push in from institutions, it won't happen all at once right away. There are lots of boxes to check and so forth. But I think the long-term holders understand there's a big buyer on the way here. So
yeah, I mean, everyone is in anticipation for these ETFs. I mean, hell, there's been posts going around for a while on these Bitcoin ETF approvals. Everyone's been speculating. I actually just recently made an X post, and I was like, everywhere I turn on crypto, it could be YouTube, it could be X, it could be any social media platform. Guess what the main topic is? Bitcoin ETFs. And we do see, yeah, it's basically done. Latest I'm hearing from multiple sources that final S1s are due 8 a.m. on Monday. That is, of course, today, as SEC is trying to line everyone up for January 11th launch. So is this going to be huge this week? Are we about to see multiple approvals? We don't know, right? We don't know, and we can't speculate on it. One thing that I'd love to know is what they are kicking up here. I mean, BlackRock expects its spot Bitcoin ETF to be approved on Wednesday, Fox Business reports. I mean, these are mainstream media players. JD, which runs the Crypto Wealth Network with me, we do see huge pump, FOMO kicks in, then huge dump, which I'm adding heavily on altcoins, garbage coins to ride the alt season with no emotions. 2024 will be life-changing for the 5%. And yeah, I mean, listen, as we really look at this event, it is one of the largest manipulative events out there in crypto. And I really do think that we will see a major pullback, even if we get approval. I said over here, Larry Fink to the media companies, all right, keep reeling them in, make it seem like we are going to get approval any second. We have been witnessing the largest manipulative event in crypto history. Every other post on my timeline is about the ETF. No matter the decision, I believe it results in a major sell-off in the short term, giving us an incredible buy opportunity. Utilize this event as an opportunity. Don't FOMO into it and buy into the nonsense. And the nonsense that we have been seeing around these ETF approvals is $30 trillion is waiting on the sidelines just to, pour into crypto. We have been seeing this term trillion get thrown out there every single day around these ETFs. All this event is to bring in the exit liquidity for the big players. We are being manipulated by this event. Now, yes, do I think that macro-wise it's very bullish? Technically, yes, it is, right? It's going to open massive avenues to more and new money to pour into crypto. But I do also think that this is going to cause a major sell-off in the short term. And I think that we should be positioning ourselves for it. And the best way to do this is to have your long-term holds, right? Don't touch them. Keep them on the sidelines. Be patient with them. Be vigilant. But also stack some stable coins just for buying opportunities, because you never know what could happen with these ETF approvals. You never know. But even Jay Clayton, and for those that are not aware, Jay Clayton was denying Bitcoin spot ETFs for a while. And I do actually have a post regarding this open in a new tab, but this is from CNBC. Like, all the mainstream media accounts are posting about ETFs. This should all tell you something. And this is from Jay Clayton. I believe approval eventually is inevitable. It's coming, says Jay Clayton on Bitcoin ETF. When I was chair of the SEC, I was concerned about that underlying Bitcoin trading market. I think we've gotten past that. Check this out.
So it seems like there's kind of short-term pressure on the SEC in terms of the huge run-up in Bitcoin and the idea that if they don't approve this now, after all this expectation, a lot of people are going to lose their shirts in the Bitcoin markets. But there's also this sort of long-term concern about investor protection, right? Because if you talk about people investing their retirement funds now in a Bitcoin ETF, and Bitcoin has been such a wildly volatile item out there, these huge epic swings that you don't see in other asset classes. You talk about people maybe losing their retirement funds in the long run. So how do you balance those two things as the SEC looking at this, on a Friday night in early January?
Well, Layman, let me talk about the SEC's role here. And what I would say is the three things the SEC felt that they had to get right before they approve it. And, approval is not certain, but I've said that approval this week is not certain, but I believe approval eventually is inevitable.
It feels like
it's coming, right? It's coming.
Yeah.
What do they have to get right? The disclosure has to be right, okay, so that people understand what they're buying. The second thing is the underlying trading market has to be efficacious. It has to be of a quality that manipulation, the type of just bad behavior that you don't want to see in an underlying trading market is eliminated or at an acceptable minimum. And then lastly, and this is very important here with the digital asset, the pipes have to work. The product itself, the custody, the create, the redemption. Kate talked about authorized participants and the arbitrage and how this product actually functions. That has to work. So the SEC has to have gotten comfortable that all those things are going to function as they should. I've said many times when I was chair of the SEC, I was concerned about that underlying Bitcoin trading market. So, I think we've gotten past that. On your question about investors, I rarely give investment advice. I don't know whether Bitcoin's going to be worth a lot or a little. I will say this. This is a speculative, volatile asset. No good investment advisor or broker-dealer would tell you to put a substantial portion of your investment assets into a single volatile or speculative asset.
You say that, Jay, I'm sorry to interrupt. You say that, but somebody will, right? I mean, somebody out there in the financial advisor world will say, you know what? You want to make some money in your retirement funds? Get into this. It's going to expand, and somebody's going to lose their shirt, right? I mean, that's just the nature of markets.
And let me just say this. I would hope that no broker-dealer or investment advisor registered with the SEC would tell somebody to put all their chips in the Bitcoin basket.
So there you guys have it. And again, this is Jay Clayton. This is one of the individuals that caused the most harm to the crypto markets, especially for the XRP holders, because remember, he's the one that introduced the SEC lawsuit against Ripple and walked out the door. When we really look at what's going on with these ETFs, it's so clear that this is manipulation. And even Perry Ann DC, who has been really going hard against Elizabeth Warren, she's been talking about safety around crypto, things like that. We have her saying, I agree that spot Bitcoin ETFs are inevitable, but let's not forget that Mr. Clayton blocked spot Bitcoin ETFs during his tenure as SEC chair during the Trump administration. Johnny Deaton is even responding and saying 100%. Without Jay Clayton's self-serving tenure at the SEC, Gensler would not have been able to arbitrarily and capriciously deny spot ETFs. He was wrong to block the ETF. Remember as well, Clayton met with Gensler the day before he filed the Ripple and XRP case, claiming all XRP constituted illegal securities. If you don't believe the Ripple XRP case was the main topic of discussion, Clayton left the SEC the following day. I have a bridge for sale after refusing to implement a safe harbor proposed by Hester Pierce, and after making sure he kept the regulatory status of Bitcoin and crypto vague. Clayton went on to advise One River and others related, of course, to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and crypto policy in general. Pretty damn good business model for Clayton and his cronies, that is. And again, this is just another great example of why you can't trust these regulators, you can't trust these big companies, and you cannot trust the mainstream media. They are bought and paid for. I've always said this since day one. Now, the big thing here is, obviously, yes, we're going to get the spot ETF approval probably. Who knows when it happens? Will it happen this week? It could. We don't know. But what happens after, right? Because over here we have from XRP drops, we have BlackRock alone has $2 billion lined up for the spot Bitcoin ETF in the first week. Matthew Sigel, head of digital asset research at VanEck said. Check this out. This is a minute long.
Hit on here today. Basically, article talking about the 10 million Bitcoin purchase by BlackRock that would be pushed into the fund today on January 5th, and that there would be another 200 million coming into the market once the fund gets approved. So that does show a lot of commitment, I think, in these markets. But more importantly, I think what this might show is that they're starting to double down on this. So much so that breaking news today is this right here. BlackRock actually has $2 billion lined up for this ETF. So, I mean, this is pretty significant. And this came in from Matthew Siegel, who's been on our show from VanEck, talking about the potential futures here, kind of outpacing a little bit of what's been happening in the market. This came from, of course, on a Twitter space with Eric Balchunas and Eleanor Terrett. Don't know if that's fully accurate, but the fact that they're making these statements right now, these are the best analysts out there when it comes to ETFs, so I do trust most of these guys on where this is going. Eleanor Terrett.
Now, over here, we also have another post regarding this where spot Bitcoin ETF, what's that battleground that you think is coming? CNBC, it's the battleground for all asset managers. Fees, baby, fees, fees, fees. Now, we could actually see the percentage here, 0.39% from Fidelity, Trust, with Grayscale, 2.5%, Invesco, Galaxy, 0, first $5 billion in assets under management for 6 months. And then BlackRock, we believe, is coming out at 0.8%. This is from XRP Drops. Check this clip out.
Battleground that you think is coming.
The battleground, it's the battleground for all asset managers. Fees, baby. Fees, fees, fees. We're all about the fees. And here's what's really interesting. Fidelity came out of the gate really early on, 2 weeks ago, 39 basis points. That's pretty low for a specialty ETF. We were thinking it would be in the 70 to 100 basis point range. Grayscale right now, the Grayscale Trust is 250 basis points. We've got Fidelity at 39. Invesco and Galaxy are 0 until the first $5 billion in AUM. I believe BlackRock is coming out at 80. So the fee game is going to be an interesting one because they're all the same thing. It's Bitcoin. How much will brand matter, and how much of this will be about fees?
Battleground that you think is coming.
Now, after all of this, what comes next? We have over here, what's after Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. Again, when we look at XRP, it is probably up there. I've talked about it. But it is unbelievable how XRP is deliberatively not mentioned, although XRP fulfills almost all the criteria they are mentioned for Bitcoin. Bitcoin has most regulatory clarity. This was repeatedly stated by the SEC. Bitcoin is not a security. Again, when we look at XRP, it was deemed not a security in court, in law, on July 13th. There isn't that long track record for other cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin is 15 years old. The XRP ledger first launched in June of 2012. XRP is 11 years old and has over 80 million closed ledgers. Bitcoin is very liquid. There is over 50 billion in global assets under management across crypto ETPs. Over 70% or over 75%, is in Bitcoin. The next 10 billion in Ethereum. Then we've got Solana. Check this out.
The timing.
Look, I think Bitcoin is obviously the first. Bitcoin also has the most regulatory clarity. Gary Gensler, the SEC, has repeatedly stated Bitcoin is not a security. There's no interpretation as such. I think Bitcoin needs to be, it needs to take some time for the Bitcoin ETF to trade. I think when it comes to other crypto assets, it's going to take some time just because there isn't that long track record. As of 2 days ago, Bitcoin, 15 years old, the Bitcoin network first block was mined 15 years ago. Bitcoin's been around for a long time, battle tested, markets are very deep, very liquid. We don't really see that in the longer tail of crypto assets, but what we do know is there's tremendous investor demand. Today, there is over 50 billion in global AUM across crypto ETPs. Now, 38 billion of that, or over 75%, is in Bitcoin, but the next 10 billion Ethereum. Then we've got Solana, very popular this recent year, and a long tail of others. But I do think it's just going to take some time for the market to get comfortable.
And, I really do think that they are deliberatively not talking about XRP, because we've noticed CNBC never talks about it. Fox never talks about it. The only time that they ever talk about XRP is in negative light, or to undercut a major announcement, or even like we've seen back in 2017, 2018, they started talking about it at the top, shilling it. This is a big issue that I've noticed around XRP. We always see all these other major players talked about Ethereum, Solana, Dogecoin, this, that. But what about XRP? In my opinion, an XRP ETF makes far more sense than an Ethereum ETF or a Solana ETF. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, though. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you guys did enjoy the video, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Peace out.